If you haven't seen this, Mike Florio went on a pretty Grant Cohn-esque rant yesterday, really laying into Kyle Shanahan about his blatant search for a new quarterback while Jimmy Garoppolo is still on the team. And basically, who do you think you're fooling? What do you think you're doing? I called you the next Bill Belichick, but now I have real questions. And it seems to me that the national media is sort of shifting their narrative on Kyle. Because to me, on the West Coast, I always felt like they made a ton of excuses for him from very far away. And now, entering year 5, when he may be hitting his stride, all of a sudden people are jumping off the bandwagon, being more critical. I don't know. How do you perceive what's going on here?
I don't know if people are jumping off the bandwagon yet or being more critical, just because you know how Florio is. Like Florio,
he's a little dramatic.
Yeah, he's always been a little dramatic, and he's always been kind of the guy who tries to find something out of something that maybe isn't there, and then rant about it. And
he looks about him in like a serious way. Like he's not joking at all.
Right. But I do think it is personal a little bit for Florio, because Kyle called him out. I don't know if you ever heard the Michael Irvin podcast, but when he went on with Michael Irvin, this is about a month after the draft, he said, when he asked him when's Trey Lance going to start, he said, I don't want to say anything for Florio to make a big story about it. And so this looked like, to me, Florio getting his little bit of revenge. But I actually think Florio this was not the usual Florio where he picks at something that's not there to get his revenge. I actually think he did have an angle here, and that's Kyle's the one making the story out of the quarterback situation, not Florio. There was no reason for him to go that in depth about Matthew Stafford when McVay asked about it. McVay clearly asked that question, and this is where I'm a little confused by the fact that they trouble. I'm a little confused by the fact that they didn't know each other were in Cabo, because McVay, even his voice inflection when he asked that question, it sounded like McVay knew Shanahan wanted Stafford. He knew that they got Stafford instead of him, and it was kind of rub it in. Hey, Kyle, what you think about Stafford? Tell me about Stafford, because he knew that Shanahan liked Stafford. That's the vibe I got. Correct me if you got something different.
Same exact vibe. Same. He knew the answer to the question before he asked it.
Oh, absolutely, right? Absolutely. By the way, Jeremy Fowler, ESPN poll, ranked Matthew Stafford as the 6th ranked quarterback in the NFL, ranked by a poll of a bunch of executives. Felt good to see that. Just wish he was on the 49ers, so don't care about him. Trey Lance 2021, let's go. No, I'm kidding. But so that's how I took the question. And it to me, it was bait. He literally was just throwing a worm out for Kyle to catch. And Kyle not only took the worm, he ate the worm and got pulled out of the water. Poor fishing analogy. But he went on and on about how great Stafford is and everything. And I do think Florio has a point. And the point is, I actually don't think the point's about Jimmy Garoppolo. The point is about Trey Lance. Trey Lance is the future now. Kyle shouldn't be talking about any other quarterbacks anymore. Kyle shouldn't be talking about Mac Jones and how Peter Schrager was right for thinking it was Mac Jones, but he liked Trey Lance more. He shouldn't be having these conversations about any other quarterbacks anymore. I totally resent it, and here's why. They gave up their future for Trey Lance. It wasn't just that they drafted Trey Lance. It was that they traded up for Trey Lance. So I don't understand why he's creating stories, because Garoppolo is frankly irrelevant now. I'm sorry. I know I'm still a fan of Jimmy G. I know he's got a lot of people who are loyal and, in my opinion, a little bit delusional about his level of play. I know that he's got detractors, but I don't understand why he's relevant to the 49ers fan base anymore. The moment they traded up, he became yesterday's news. That I hate to say it like that. I hate to be so blunt about it, but that's the truth. That's what happened to Alex Smith when they
hold on. Let's focus again on Kyle and him needing to go all in on a quarterback, because with Jimmy, we excused him sort of beating down Jimmy, being critical of Jimmy, throwing Jimmy under the bus because that's not his quarterback. That wasn't his quarterback. Trey Lance is his quarterback. So what are you talking about Matthew Stafford for?
Why?
What are you saying?
That's my question.
Really? He made it seem like he's still mad.
That they missed out on Stafford, right?
Today, No, you should be talking about Trey.
And to me, that's really what I was waiting for. I mean, I've listened to the interview with the McVay podcast twice now, personally, because I really just enjoy it. I love McVay and Peter Schrager, the chemistry they have and the vibe they got. And I think Kyle was also really great on the podcast. I think it was a great show, but I was waiting for him to say something like, yeah, look, I like Stafford a lot, but we got Trey Lance. So it doesn't matter because that is the bottom line. He got Trey Lance. So none of this should be relevant. And that's where I think Florio, if he was looking to go at Kyle, he went at him wrong. Who cares if he's looking to actively replace Jimmy Garoppolo? He's been looking to actively replace Jimmy Garoppolo for 2 years now. That's why Grant Cohn has done about 1,000 videos on Jimmy Garoppolo in the last year and a half. Why? Does Grant want to talk about Jimmy Garoppolo 100% of the time? Probably not. It's because the 49ers always have Jimmy Garoppolo in the national news because they're always flirting with every available quarterback.
Obvious.
That's not Grant's fault.
It's not that I'm down on Jimmy. It's that Kyle is down on Jimmy and has been down on Jimmy. And what's interesting is now it seems to me that the national media is starting to be more down on Kyle. And I think it's as simple as Kyle making a lot of people look bad about Mac Jones. It seemed a little unnecessary. Okay, they got some bad information. You didn't help them. We're talking Adam Schefter and people. And then after they got it wrong, you kind of made it seem like these freaking amateurs try to make us look bad, act like they know what they're doing. I don't know. It just seemed like a little over the top. And now where you might have had allies, you have people who are like, oh, it's like that. How are you going to make us look like we're unprofessional? Okay. All right. We'll remember that.
I think what was a little over the top was maybe saying that they made up the information and ran with it.
It's like, what?
I'm sorry.
Why would you say that about Adam Schefter?
Like, obviously, again, I'm someone looking from afar. I'm someone analyzing all of this for like a couple hours a day on my computer screen when I have free time, from a house in some suburb outside of Chicago. But I just don't understand why Adam Schefter and Mike Silver and those guys would make up information. Mike Silver was the one who broke Kyle Shanahan being hired by the 49ers. Mike Silver was the one who wrote that long essay article before the Super Bowl about Kyle Shanahan, his dad, his coaching style, his honesty. Remember the one article that included the tidbit about him cussing out McDaniel and Scangarillo for coaching Nick Mullins wrong when he didn't throw a ball to where he wanted him to go with the ball against the Rams in 2018. He had details like that in that article. And so I don't understand why he would make up Mac Jones. That's just my personal take on the situation. I have a ton of respect for everybody involved in this.
We're talking the most connected people in the industry. All of a sudden, just guessing. That's not really how those people do business. And you made them look like chumps. You went out of your way to make them be like, these guys, well, they suck. Don't believe a word they say. Oh, okay. Well, if you're going to make people question my integrity, well, I'm going to get you back. And I'm not saying people are taking revenge. It just seemed like this Florio thing seemed personal. Listen to him talk. I was like, man, I don't even feel this mad when I don't have anything personal against Kyle. I don't even know Kyle like that. It's kind of, I have fun doing it.
My bad.
It's
no, my bad. Go ahead.
I'm playing the part of an asshole. I like doing that with Kyle Shanahan. It's part of the game. But with Florio, this seemed like it went way deeper.
So I think that Michael Irvin thing, he took it personally.
Yeah.
Because he felt like he called him the next Belichick. He goes on shows with Chris Sims, and him and Chris Sims are boys.
And then he named him personally. Yeah, Kyle named Florio personally.
The one guy he named. But honestly, even this, I don't look at it as making a story out of nothing, like him talking about Stafford and everything. I understand that it's not the biggest deal for him to say something positive about Stafford. I think the most important thing, and what Florio was right about, is this is a time for the Niners to really tread water and not really say a lot in public, because this is kind of the crossroads of their organization. They've invested everything in one guy, and that one guy is going to determine the outcome of what happens to Kyle Shanahan in San Francisco, what happens to John Lynch in San Francisco, where Jed York looks for a next head coach. Everything is tied to the success of Trey Lance. So to me, to even talk about these type of things, having a casual conversation on a podcast with a friend of yours and a friend of the media about Matthew Stafford, while harmless, I just think it's unnecessary at this point, because everything should be about Trey Lance. Everything should
Mhm.
be about how good Trey Lance is, how great Trey Lance is, how good Trey Lance is becoming, how smart Trey Lance is, and everything. Because this organization is all about Trey Lance from now on, which is why going back, I was touched on the Garoppolo a little bit, and to touch on the national narrative with Shanahan and the fact that, he's disrespecting Jimmy G. Well, trading up for Trey Lance and all of that was the ultimate sign of disrespect for Jimmy G, because they did it a month before the draft. They told you they wanted a quarterback a month before the draft. It wasn't, Trey Lance is available at 3, let's go get him. It was, we want to go get a quarterback, and Trey Lance is our favorite. But if he's not available, we will settle for somebody else because we want a quarterback. And so that's where I don't think it matters if he's disrespecting Jimmy G, frankly, because Jimmy G isn't the future of this organization. Jimmy G isn't that guy anymore. It's all about Trey Lance.